My name is Lyla Johnston, and I've been asked to speak about some research that I'm working on with the Winnemem Wintu, a Northern California tribe of the McCloud River Basin. They are the descendants of a nation that has undergone unbelievable hardship. Somehow, and despite epidemics, attempted genocide, and forced assimilation, they have persisted with their culture relatively intact. Today, they face yet another challenge that is making it difficult to do the one thing that is more important to them than anything else: pass the Winnemem way of life on to the next generation. Winnemem Wintu is translated as Middle River People, for they inhabited the central waterway that feeds into the Sacramento River for at least 8,000 years. In the 1940s, the Shasta Dam was constructed, thereby inundating the great majority of their ancestral homeland and two other waterways to create the Shasta Reservoir. It is estimated that there were 14,000 Wintu at the time of contact. Beneath the waters of the Shasta Reservoir lies the legacy of a great society that walked the river's edge for over 8,000 years. Hundreds of villages, cemeteries, tools, sacred objects, and sacred and historical sites have sat beneath the surface for almost 70 years. What was lost to the Winnemem Wintu nation was, no doubt, immeasurable. And while this certainly marked a great transformation for the Winnemem Wintu tribe, a number of historical and sacred sites remain above water today. The water level rises and falls with the seasons and is greatly influenced by California's water demand. As such, many of the Winnemem sacred sites are available only during the dry season, when the water has receded. Today, however, the Bureau of Reclamation and Westlands Water District are devising a plan to raise the Shasta Dam water level by up to 18 feet. They're doing this to secure water for agricultural businesses in King and Fresno counties. And although the project is still in the planning stages, Westlands has bought private lands that would be flooded in anticipation of the event. During my time here, we have compiled a list of over 50 culturally significant sites to the Winnemem Wintu tribe that will be seasonally or permanently flooded or otherwise affected by an 18-foot dam raise. These sites are central to Winnemem Wintu identity and their medicinal practices. To take away or alter these sites would be like taking away a church and the hospital from a small town. This is different though, because you can rebuild a church and you can rebuild a hospital. You cannot rebuild an ancient sacred pool or mountainside that your ancestors have been visiting for thousands of years. I have been trained in Native American science through the lens of Lakota philosophy, spirituality, and medicine. I have also been trained in anthropological theory and methods at Stanford University, and so naturally I was drawn to the Winnemem Wintu. I find their situation to be illustrative of the struggle of so many Native American tribes, past and present. Like so many, they hold a mutual and interdependent relationship with the local environment. It is a part of them, and they are a part of it. And like so many tribes, the land base that their culture has grown out of has been pulled from beneath their feet. Since their cultural practices require access to and interaction with the local environment, any damage done to the environment is also damage done to the culture. And so we see emerging a conflict of cultures, one that depends upon free-flowing waters and one that depends upon large dams and reservoirs. Somebody must compromise, and oftentimes it is the smaller tribes that are brushed aside to make way for corporate projects such as these. When corporations give way, they lose money. When the tribe gives way, they lose their ability to connect with their creator in a traditional manner, and their ability to heal themselves through this connection. Of these 50+ sacred sites, most of them are central to Winnemem Wintu medicinal practices. If you take the time to learn how these sites are used, you will find that each site has its own special purpose. There is a rock you go to release anxiety. There is a pool you come to wash away depression. There is another you go to heal a woman from sexual abuse. And when a loved one is sick, you go to certain places before you fast for them so they may be healed. When you have cancer, you visit certain sacred sites and pick medicines along the way. Certainly there are times when they go to Western hospitals, but more often than not, there is free health care waiting up the river. And by all accounts, these practices are successful in bringing well-being. When we understand this, we see that the dam raise is in effect a form of ethnocide. Ultimately, this is a human rights issue and an encroachment upon their religious freedom. Not only are you stripping a minority of the right to practice and revitalize their cultural traditions and customs, as outlined in Article 11 of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, but you are also taking away their ability to heal themselves and connect with a higher power. A Winnemem man recently told me in an interview, quote, "We are hanging on by a thread. These areas have been given to us by the Creator to go to. We doctor there. It doctors us. And without this, we are just another people with no spiritual connection to the earth. Without that, without these sacred sites to take care of, we are not Winnemem anymore. If we can't do that anymore, then who are we? Why are we? There was a call that if that dam is raised, we will go to where Children's Rock is, and we are going to ghost dance until we drown, until we are no more. That is my commitment. I won't be assimilated." End quote. Indeed, the Winnemem Wintu cherish their culture. They speak of culture the way Western society speaks of money, when they compare the wealth of knowledge that they have to assimilated tribes. In the Winnemem world, no amount of currency is worth a sacred song, or knowing how to dance for the salmon, or the ability to speak the same words that your ancestors once uttered along the river's edge. They are the river, and the river is them. To take away what little they have left would break their hearts, it would break their spirits, and it would break the continuity of Winnemem Wintu culture forever. There is no doubt in my mind that when the CEOs and other architects of the Shasta Dam raise begin to understand the magnitude of this decision, when they begin to understand exactly what they are flooding, that then they will find an alternative, of which there are many. For now, we are telling the story to all who will hear. So thank you for listening, and have a beautiful day.